Let me tell you a story about a young woman almost a lifetime ago.
Rishi Sunak has put his family's story front and centre of his campaign to be the next Conservative leader.
My mum studied hard and got the qualifications to become a pharmacist.
His mother's work as a pharmacist.
She met my dad, an NHS GP, and they settled in Southampton.
A message repeated over and over again by some of his supporters.
He's not of privileged background at all, absolutely standard.
Well, we keep hearing that.
Background.
Actually, he went to Winchester School. That's pretty privileged.
He got a scholarship.
His mum was a chemist who ran a small shop in Southampton. His dad was a local doctor.
His mum was a pharmacist and his dad was a GP.
He was born into a pharmacy.
Rishi Sunak's campaign has told a powerful story of middle-class aspiration, how hard work and sacrifice has delivered great success. But his critics have a different narrative. They say his life and rapid ascent is in fact a tale of extraordinary privilege. One of his cabinet rivals told me the posh boys have seized control of the party again. It was an attack Mr Sunak had to endure publicly in the last television debate.
I saw kids at my school being let down in Leeds. I saw them not get the opportunities, not get the proper educational standards that you might have got at your school, Rishi.
Rishi Sunak was born in 1980 to Usha and Yashvir. His father was a GP, his mother a pharmacist, who later bought the pharmacy in Southampton. They wanted the best for their children, as they told a documentary team for the BBC in 2000, in footage rarely seen since.
You want your children to get educated, get degrees, be in good sort of reasonable professions.
And you can see the success of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get an education, you get a good job, you have respect, you go up in your status.
After attending private schools in Southampton, in 1993, Mr Sunak won a place at Winchester College, one of the poshest public schools in the country. Despite the claims of some of his supporters, he confirmed to us he did not receive a scholarship. His parents paid the fees, about £22,000 a year in today's money, as his father told the BBC.
I think financially it was quite a huge commitment for us, because Winchester, the fees at Winchester was double what we had to pay if we went to the local school in Southampton. So it was quite a large financial commitment.
The school's motto is "Manners maketh man," and Mr Sunak adored it.
The setting of the school is just beautiful, and the quality of not just the teaching but the facilities, the sport, the music, the drama, the cricket pitches for me are just great places to play cricket on a Saturday, and it's something that I'll always remember very fondly. And even at university, a lot of my friends from school are there. At Winchester, I was one of very few Asians. I mean, the first generation into that level of society. It does put me in an elite, of achievement, definitely in society, but I'll always consider myself sort of, professional middle class.
It was a natural step to head straight to Oxford University, which at the time was accused of favouring private school students. It was an environment in which the young Rishi felt at home.
I have friends who are aristocrats, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are working class, but I'm not working class, but I mix and match, and then I go to see kids from an inner city state school and tell them, to apply to Oxford and talk to them about people like me, and then I shock them at the end of chatting to them for half an hour and tell them I was at Winchester, and, one of my best friends is from Eton or whatever, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Sunak left Oxford for a coveted job at the American bank Goldman Sachs. And just months after graduating, he snapped up a one-bedroom flat here in the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea for £210,000, with a little help we've discovered from the bank of mum and dad. Documents held at the Land Registry show he was able to do that with an interest-free loan from his parents of £105,000 in return for a share of any profit. The loan was worth more than the average house price in Britain at the time. He was just 21 years old. The flat, which he still owns, is now worth an estimated £750,000. But Mr Sunak had his sights set on America. After getting a scholarship to do an MBA at Stanford University, He moved to the upscale Los Angeles suburb of Santa Monica in California with his new wife, Akshata Murthy, the daughter of one of India's richest entrepreneurs. Public records show the couple moved into an apartment in this stunning beachfront property. We can't film inside, but a marketing video for the property boasts of an internal elevator to whisk you up to the master bedroom. The rent was just under $20,000 a month, around £13,000 at the time.
The mild weather, the palm trees, the ocean views are all desirable. And Hollywood makes it even more desirable. Everyone knows about Southern California. The average Joe would not be able to afford to live close to the beach or on the beach.
It was conveniently close to the office where Mr Sunak set up a US branch of the hedge fund Thelem Partners in 2010. He was named as a partner at the time. The branch was ultimately owned by a company registered in the Cayman Islands, a tax haven. We've obtained this document from the US authorities. It lists 3 investment funds managed by Mr Sunak's branch. We've identified that funds with those names were also based in tax havens, including 2 in the Cayman Islands. And there's one more detail. The document shows how partners in the hedge fund were paid, with a share of the tax haven funds they managed. Did Mr Sunak earn bonuses offshore in the Cayman Islands? If so, what happened to them? We've asked him for an answer. Mr Sunak did not deny that he received assets in tax havens, but he told us any assets he had were subject to US tax, which was paid in full. There's no suggestion Mr Sunak did anything illegal. In June 2014, the couple made a commitment to this penthouse, just a stone's throw from the beach. The price, some $6.8 million. We can't find a mortgage. Apparently, it was bought for cash.
Double trouble for Rishi Sunak and his wife. He admits he had residency status in the US even as he was appointed Chancellor. And tonight his wife says she will pay UK taxes on the millions she earns around the world.
The Sunak family's personal wealth came to public attention in the spring when it emerged his wife was a non-dom, meaning she didn't pay UK tax on her foreign income. It also transpired he'd held a green card, permitting him residency in the US until just last year. As the only member of the cabinet to make the Sunday Times rich list, Mr Sunak's wealth has become his Achilles heel, as he struggles to prove he understands the plight of ordinary people wrestling with the worst cost of living crisis in a century.
There have been big questions about your judgment when it came to your green card status and your wife's non-dom status.
So I've always been a completely normal UK taxpayer. My wife is from another country, so she's treated differently. But she explained that in the spring, and she resolved that issue. But look, there is commentary about my wife's family's wealth. And so let me just address that head on, because I think it's worth doing, because I'm actually incredibly proud of what my parents-in-law built. My father-in-law came from absolutely nothing and just had a dream and a couple of £100 that my mother-in-law's savings provided him. And with that, he went on to build one of the world's largest, most respected, most successful companies.
He married a very, very wealthy woman. Is that a problem? Is that tax status a problem?
No, it's not a problem. I'll tell you why. Because we believe in aspiration in the Conservative Party. We believe that if you're born in a chemist shop in Southampton and you go on to get a great education on merit, to have a great business career on merit, to fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love with, and then to have a political career in which you really deliver for the country in some of the most difficult times, I call that a success. And in the Conservative Party, we're in favour of people making a success of their lives.
My values are non-negotiable. Patriotism, fairness, hard work.
But even if he wins over the Conservative membership to clinch the leadership and become Prime Minister, winning over the British public amid unprecedented economic turmoil may be a far tougher challenge.